Hey, what's going on, guys? Maldiva here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the Affliction Warlock damage guide. So in the last video, I went over talents and all that, and I asked if there was anything that people were struggling with or ideas or topics that I should cover next. And this happened to be the big topic that everybody asked for. They wanted help with damage. I mean, they're getting trained. It's really hard to get anything off, and we're dying instantly almost. So I'm going to try to help out with that and see if I can, bring some insight onto what we should be doing on how to get damage out efficiently. And just a word of just like a little pointer, from what I've seen, the other Affliction locks, I play it a little bit differently. So my build is slightly different and my priority system is slightly different. It's just kind of preference. I might switch and try the other builds, but at the moment this is the most comfortable one for me, especially getting trained and trying to focus on more of like instant casts instead of like buffing raptures and all that. So starting off with the build, I'm going to talk about how my build differs and my priority system, and we'll go over what my priority system is in PvP. So this is the basic standard talent setup that we use. The only difference compared to other warlocks is I see everybody is using corruption, and now the reason for this is it'll increase the duration of it, so you're not as GCD starved. In this point of time, we don't have much haste, so it's really hard to get all your dots out, and then you have to combat dispels, then you're getting stunned, crowd control, all that kind of stuff. And I can see how this would help, and I'm gonna maybe try to start playing with it, but at the moment I am playing the Agony build, so it'll stack up to higher stacks. And let me tell you, Agony actually pumps. I don't know, I really like this. I think it's going to always do more damage than corruption. Sure, people can decurse and all that, but I don't know, I feel like I get a lot of value out of this. And also I have rolling Agony conduit, so it increases the duration of Agony, which helps you keep it up on multiple targets, so you don't have to refresh it as much, so that's always handy. But I mean, I could definitely see the value in playing absolute corruption, even with the corruption legendary, where so we have the slow and the increased duration. It'll make it so you don't have to refresh dots as much. But at the moment I'm getting trained, I focus on Agony as like my main damage source outside of, like, let's say UA and then Rapture. So I'm not going to go too in depth with talents. You guys have my other video if you're interested in talents and all that. I kind of want to dive deep into how I do my priority system, how I set up the big damage, and what you should be doing and looking out for. So my main priority, let's see, we're going to use these 3 targets. We're going to pretend that these are like the 3 enemies in arena, and I mean, hopefully they're probably not going to be standing that close together and not moving, but I mean, this is just for demonstration purposes on how I do my damage. So what I do, my biggest priority, since I'm playing Agony build, is Agony first. Keeping your stacks, keeping it at max stacks, because that is going to do a ton of damage. So all you're going to do is practice keeping your Agony up on everything, and then you want to get it to max stacks. Now there's a little trick you could do is if you keep casting it over, you can kind of force it to stack up faster. I don't really do that too much, maybe if I'm really getting trained and I'm not able to do anything. But this is the general basis for this build. First off, prioritize Agony stacks. As you can see, we got it at 18. You never want to let these fall off if you're multi-dotting. So just always keeping these up. You can refresh them as they get like a few seconds left. I do it a little bit higher just to be safe. And then it's going to also give you your drain life stacks, which is huge, and extra soul shards. So once you get that down, the next thing that I prioritize is if I'm able to free cast. Am I able to free cast? If so, I'm going to put out UAs. I prioritize UA over like putting up corruptions first. So I'll get my Agonies up. We're going to refresh them since they're about to fall. And then what I'll do is put up my UA. I really should have did war mode, because now I don't think I could spread UAs because I'm not in war mode. But yeah, what I would do is, like, if I'm able to free cast, there's no kicks, somehow I fake them or they're not in range of kicking me, I'll UA 1, then UA 2, and a UA 3 if possible. But if there are kicks, then let's say I'll put up my Agonies, make sure I have them stacked up and none of them are falling off, and then I'll spread my corruptions to get the slow, and just because I'm not able to put up my UA. Now sometimes I'll like start casting with a UA and then I'll juke it into a corruption, so you can like start casting it, juke into a corruption, that sort of thing, just to try to get them out of the way, because UA is your dot coverage, and it also does a really good amount of damage. It's like slightly higher than Agony, I've noticed, like DPS wise, if you have it spread. But yeah, so now I'll go over like what my opener looks like. So how you're trying to have the perfect opener possible if you're able to free cast and all that. So I'll let my dots fall, and then we will jump right into that. So I'm jumping into the arena. Let me dump my 2 shards so we're not starting at full shards to make it pretty accurate. Okay, so we're gonna Agony everything because they're all in range. I'll UA them all. Hey, I'll just pretend that UAs are sticking. They're obviously not because I'm not in war mode. And then I'll put it on my main target. Put up Corruption, Dark Soul, Phantom, Soul Rot, Dark Lair, and then I have to dump the shards with Rapture. I would press Contagion during my Dark Soul too if I'm capped on shards. Well, technically I always try to get my Contagion rolling, especially during Dark Soul, just for that extra pump. But the main way that I use Contagion is if I'm capped on shards and I'm not able to spend them on UA. So you see now I'm full shards, and let's say there's kicks in the way and I'm not able to cast UA or cast Raptures. This is when I would press Contagion just to dump them and get it rolling, get my dots going, because it'll help you get your Agony stacks quicker and your Drain life stacks. So now you see we have our Drain, and the Drain is like our big giant burst, but also pretty good defensive because it'll give you increased healing as well. So that's generally how I like to do my openers. So prioritize Agony. Then my second is UA. If I'm not able to cast UA, then Corruption. You want to try to get Phantom up with all your dots, because you want to be ideally rapturing with Phantom. If you can Phantom and Soul Rot, that's insane. But if not, yeah, get it with Phantom and try to Dark Lair when you have the UA and the Phantom. And if you want to get a little advanced, if you see the opportunity and the stars are kind of aligning, you can go for the giant Soul Rot. So if you guys watch when I play, sometimes I get these dirty Drain Souls where I'm like draining the whole team. So what I'll do is you'll Soul Rot. You see it's on 2 of these targets. So I'm going to hit the target that's not Soul Rotted and then Drain. And then there's the triple suck. And you can do that with the Inevitable. So you stack that up to 50 and you'll have giant drains on the whole team. But I mean, at high level, I don't really get that off too much, with the interrupts and all that, and my other priority systems. I'm not able to do that, so it doesn't happen all that often. But when it does, it's pretty funny. So, again, now I want to talk about rotation-wise with Rapture. So the way we use Rapture is probably going to be the best way to dump shards, even compared to Contagion. Contagion just costs a lot of shards, but you want to use that if you're not able to cast. So let's say I'm starting off the arena, I'm spreading my dots, I'll put my UA on the 3 targets. Let's pretend that it was going on the 3 targets. Then I'm going to put it back on my original. Dark Soul, stack up all my dots on my original target, even Soul Rot. I would use Dark Lair if I had it, and then if possible, dump all your shards right now into Raptures while maintaining your Agonies on all your targets. And then just keep your dots up on this main one and dump your shards. And then try to line up your Drain on your main target. So that's if all the targets are in your line of sight and in your range. Let's say that there's only maybe 1 target in your range. So what I'll do is I'll spread my Agonies when they're in range, and then pretend this is the only guy that's in my range and in my LOS. I will just dump my whole single target rotation. We'll put up our full dots, and then just Rapture dump on them and burn the single target, because the Raptures are the huge damage. So all you got to do is maintain dots on this guy and kind of let the others come to you. You don't want to really put yourself in a bad position just to get the other dots on the other guys. But if they do, then you can kind of just put an Agony to help you generate shards and your Drain life even faster. That's just why I prefer the Agony build. It's just really, really easy to generate stacks and all that. But yeah, that's basically how I do damage, and kind of I try to run down all the situations. And I'm sorry about no war mode. I know it kind of makes it a little weird not having to be able to press Contagion and UAing multiple targets, but Yeah, biggest thing is just contagion. Use it as a to dump shards if you're max or they're LOSing and you have a ton of shards. But don't be wasting it in situations that you can rapture instead, because you're going to get way more damage and pressure if you're able to rapture over contagion. So you just got to be smart about it, but don't overthink it. A lot of people are overthinking contagion a little too much. All right, so I have this video clip of just one of my 3v3 games, and I wanted to get like a real world example to show you guys how I do the rotation, how I play in PvP. So this is just a basic example. I mess up kind of a few things with my rotation, but it's a pretty good display of how powerful it is to keep up agonies and all that, and just keeping up with the priority system. So as you can see, I spread agonies on the whole team. We kind of just shut down their whole opener. That rogue got completely shut down, CC'd. I think he got lassoed in a coil, and their opener just got destroyed. They didn't pop any cooldowns, so we kind of have to be on high alert, which is the thing. But so that's why, as you notice, I am staying really far back. I do not want to go in there because I know they still have combust, they still have dance blades, and that will just completely destroy me. So here we go. I got full dots on my main target, which was the priest. You can see he has the UA while I'm maintaining the agonies on everybody. I went for the Dark Soul because I got my Phantom up and all that, but the mage unfortunately stole it. It was kind of bad on my part. This was their Combust Blaze Go on my Ellie, and they put the blind on the priest. You can see he's taking a ton of damage, mind games and everything. My healer had to dispel the mind games on him, and that means I had to Trinket the Sheep because I would have sat that full, and this is all their cooldowns with Dark Arc as well, so you don't want to sit that. So now I got full dots on this mage right here. I just recently Dark Layer. I didn't like my Dark Layer. It wasn't really that good, but full dots, I was dumping the Raptors, dumping my shards on the mage, and it forced him to get yanked back, and now they are just on the defensive. You can see my DPS is pretty wild. It's like over 2k just by maintaining agonies, not even getting many UAs out, and just using contagion when I can. So big thing to pay attention to is always have an exit port. You can see my port is over there, so I have an out if anything goes wrong while I'm pushed into this RMP. I don't want to give him too much breathing room, because if you give him breathing room to reset, recover, then a resetting RMP is not good. So you got to be in there, but you also have to have your exit strategy right there and ready to go. So here I am. I'm trying to fake the kicks because I want to get the UAs out. I got all my agonies out. I need to spread the UAs for dot coverage and just crazy pressure. The rogue actually cloaks right there, so I'm trying to fake the kick. There we go. We faked the kick and the CS. And now I'm going to target the rogue after the cloak because he is the weak target with no cooldown. So I went for the drain. I probably should have got dots up before I drained, but I just want to get it out of the way because it's a ton of damage. My priest gripped me out there, and their healer is now The disc was forced to press Radiance because there was a ton of spread pressure, and the mage goes down. And the damage difference is pretty hilarious. But you can see that is the power of just keeping your agonies up. I didn't even really get many UAs. Like, imagine if I got a ton of UAs out. That would have just been game over. But I should have been smarter with my Dark Soul. That was really bad to get it purged. I needed to be out of line of sight or something like that. You might even not want to play Dark Soul versus that because they're just going to take it anyway. And my Dark Layer could have been better. But outside of that, keeping up the agonies pretty much won the game for me as long as I lived and we peeled effectively at the right times. But yeah, so I hope this damage guide helped. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you have any other topics that I can cover. I'm trying to hit all of them. The biggest concerns, this seemed to be the most important one. So I made sure this was my next video to get out. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.